Okay, so today, last week we talked about Socrates, presented by Emmanuel Obi, and today we are going to talk about Plato, a student of Socrates. So, and let's listen to our lecturer, professor of today's presentation. So, can you tell us what you want us to know about Plato as it relates to peace and governance? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll be discussing on a deep dive discussion on Plato and his contributions to the modern day peace and governance. My name is Chelsea Modoni, and I'm a Kenyan. Okay. Introduction to Plato is where I will start. So Plato was born during that time, BCE, and BCE is a term that is used almost the same as BC. Okay, we use it because to avoid the Christian nature of BC, so we use BCE. He's regarded as one of the foundational figures in Western philosophy. His works form the bedrock of many philosophical discussions about ethics, politics, knowledge, and reality. Plato's thought provides a comprehensive system that links morality, governance, and the nature of knowledge. Through his dialogues, I will explain what they are later, particularly one that is known as the Republic, Plato introduced groundbreaking concepts like the Philosophers King and justice as harmony in society. Now, his ideas continue to influence political theory, educational systems, and philosophical debates to this day. Okay, so this is like an overview of what he has done. And now I will talk about him step by step, okay? Don't sleep. Okay, we're going to start from his early life, okay? He was born in an aristocratic family in Athens. His background was quite good, I would say. His early life was marked by political upheaval, including the fall of Athens after the Peloponnesian War. Okay, so this was the time that Greece was coming up again. Not Greece, but the ancient Greek whole of it, the whole side of it. Now, Plato initially pursued a career in politics, but became disillusioned with the corruption and injustice that he witnessed. His encounter with the philosopher Socrates profoundly impacted him. Now, Plato was a student of Socrates, and Plato became so fascinated with Socrates and his teachings, and we're going to see that in the next slide. Plato's aristocratic background and early exposure to political life shaped his views on governance, justice, and the role of education in creating a just society. Now, this is where the influence of Socrates comes in. Think about it like this. Socrates was a teacher, okay? And Plato is a student. And Plato became so fascinated with Socrates and his teachings that he started writing their conversations as lessons, and he called them dialogues. That's why Plato's work are known as dialogues, because the way he writes them as a conversation of teacher-student, asking a question and getting a response. So most of his work was written like that, hence the name dialogues. So Socrates, Plato's teacher, was the most significant influence on Plato's philosophical development. Because of that back and forth, asking questions, the need to know more, that's where he developed his philosophical mind. And then he would have one question would lead to another question that would lead to another question, and that's how he grew in terms of philosophy. Socrates' method of inquiry, known as the Socratic method, involved asking probing questions to stimulate critical thinking and illuminate contradictions in people's beliefs. Now, Socrates would teach in a way that it forces you as a student or as a learner to give your own opinion, have a critical mind. And this was something that flourished within Plato, because his mind, as we're going to look at later, his mind became quite the mind in recent years, as we're going to see. Now, this method emphasized dialogue and dialectic as tools for uncovering the truth. Plato's writings often feature Socrates as the central character, exploring profound questions on justice, virtue, and knowledge. So we can see the influence of Socrates on Plato's life, because most of his work was written as dialogues, and these dialogues came from the conversations he would have with Socrates as a teacher. Understand? Okay. Now, founding the academy. The academy, I would describe it as the first quote-unquote Western school, in a sense of how it was featured, in a sense of how it looked like, how they were offering knowledge. It wasn't the normal I speak, you hear, you learn, like the one Socrates did. This was more a setup. People come here at this and this time to learn about this and this. So it was the first academy that was founded by Plato in Athens. So in around 387 BCE, Plato founded the academy in Athens, one of the first institutions dedicated to the study of philosophy and sciences. Remember, at this point, Plato has had lessons with Socrates. His mind is now more philosophical. So now he wants to pass that down. Now, part of, after he founded the academy, a very notable student from the academy is Aristotle. He was a student of Plato in the academy, but Plato was a student of Socrates, but not in the academy. Got it? The academy attracted students from all over the Greek world and became the hub for intellectual exchange. So think about it as one of the only first schools in the region. It will attract the brilliant of minds in the region. Keep in mind, this is the period of BCE, so we still have the empires and it's not really Greece as we know it now, but think of Cyprus, Greece, all those countries around there. Now imagine the smartest of these people coming together to share knowledge, okay? Plato's educational philosophy emphasized the pursuit of truth, virtue, and wisdom, aiming to create philosopher leaders. And that's why he came up with the theory of the Philosopher King, who could govern society justly. Remember, he was an aristocrat before. He has seen, when he was working, let's say quote unquote, for the government, he saw corruption, he saw injustices, and that's why he left the political field and joined the academic field to try and understand why. Why are our leaders like this? Why can't they just be just and fair and lead the people well? So those questions is what made him become a philosopher, because he was trying to uncover the mind of a political leader. What makes a political leader so inhumane that he will not take care of his people or grow them well or have to steal money for corruption and stuff? The academy continued to influence generations of philosophers, including Aristotle, who studied there for 20 years. So you see how the process goes. The grandfather, as I like to call him, Socrates, was a teacher of Plato. Plato, father, was a teacher to Aristotle. The legacy of the academy is still felt in today's universities, which are rooted in the tradition of rigorous academic inquiry that Plato established. So most of the schools now are formed from this theory that he came up with, the academy. Right now we're here in Siam University. You're here to learn. The questions that you ask, the questions that are only acceptable in a classroom, that is what Plato fought for. And he was trying to teach everyone that it's okay to ask these questions, it's okay to have different answers, as long as we can all have a peaceful way to express it in the academy, as he called it. Okay? Now, this is an overview of Plato's major works. Now, the first one, or the most prominent one, is the Republic, which examines justice, the ideal state, and the Philosopher King, which is a theory of his. The next one we have the Symposium. It's a discussion on love and beauty, focusing on the nature of relationships. The third one we have Phaedo, a philosophical exploration of the soul's immortality. When you die, does your soul die or your soul lives on? Such questions. And then we have Meno, which investigates whether virtue can be taught. Can you teach someone the right thing and can they follow it? These works have had a lasting influence on Western philosophy, shaping discussions on ethics, governance, education, and the nature of reality. The nature of reality, what you're seeing, is it what it should be? Or do you see it because you want to see it like that? Or because somebody told you this is called a tree, so you know this is a tree? If nobody told you, would you call it a tree? This is one of those theories. This is the Plato's theory of forms. Forms or ideas are things we have in our mind, right? Hello, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Plato's theory of forms suggests that the physical world is a mere shadow of a higher, unchanging reality made up of perfect forms or ideas. I will say that again. Plato's theory of forms suggests that the physical world, what you see now, what you can touch, the chair, the cloth you have, is a mere shadow of a higher, unchanging reality made up of the perfect ideas. So according to Plato, what we know as the world today is just a shadow of the actual reality that does not change. For example, a tree, according to Plato, the tree has the form of the treeness. So that treeness will never change, but this tree might change. It might be tall, short, wilt, healthy. You get? Hello?
Can you go deep on that?
Now, according to Plato's mind, and I'm trying to understand his mind from a philosophical part, because most of the modern people would call him crazy. Now, according to Plato, he said that the world we see, what you see with your eyes, is a mere shadow of the higher reality. Like, it's, in his mind, we have one world, it's a shadow of the bigger world is reflecting down. So that means this world can always change, right? The one that you see with your eyes. But because it's a reflection of the actual reality, the world will still be the same. You always have a tree, but that tree might change all the time because of the form of the idea of the treeness in the bigger world. Make sense?
So in that sense, we're talking about the visible of maybe an object,
Yes.
one pattern, the other one in another.
Yes. Okay. So that's why he said, according to Plato, the objects we perceive in the physical world, the ones we see, are mere imitations of the perfect forms. So that means this pen is, as I see it, it's a pen, but it has penness that forms this pen. Okay? That means the perfect pen is not this one, but the perfect pen is the pen in that reality. This is just a shadow of it. Make sense? Obi?
Actually, you are getting it very correctly, because this is deeper part of philosophers, and if we keep, and this is where the real debate will come in, if ever.
Go on.
But before you get this kind of debate, you must read it thoroughly to understand.
Yeah.
Plato is trying to talk about the whatness of a thing. The essence of a thing is what matters.
Mhm.
When you think about a man, what makes a man, the manness of a man. So in other words, any man can, anything that calls himself a man can twist whatever it is. Just like nowadays, you can see that some men can change their body or some women can. But the point is that the manness of the man is still there. It doesn't change. Now what we see is just
A mere shadow.
a measure. For example, that this chair, the tableness of a table. What makes a table a table? For example, what makes a chair a chair? This is something you can sit on, right? So whatever thing I can sit on becomes what? The chair. Whether it's in this form or not doesn't really matter for Plato. Just like a table. the tableness of a table. What makes a table a table? For example, if table is where you can now sit and write on, it means that this can be turned to be table. So you think about the tableness of the table, not the shadow or it represents, because it can turn to be anything else.
So then you attribute.
Think about beans. You remember the beans. Beans. You have to grind it, and then it will change from beans to akara. From beans to moi. But the point is that the primary substratum, the essence of the bean is still the bean. It doesn't touch, it doesn't change. What changes is accidental.
Okay. When we come to women, those people who are transgender, so what is the madness in
a man is for Plato.
Let's say the character.
You have to understand Plato. For Plato, a man is a man. It doesn't change.
It doesn't change.
Yeah.
That is where the argument will start.
But he has not finished it. He has not finished it.
There's a whole question and discussion part at the end. So you can write all the questions down so that you don't forget.
Because you are going to answer.
Okay, so this is the example that I gave. The form of a tree is the perfect essence of treeness. It's what makes that tree the tree. It's not how it looks like. Okay? While any physical tree is an imperfect representation of that ideal. That means we have so many different trees. But what makes them trees? That means we have not seen the perfect tree. Make sense? We have so many different men. But they all have the manness, the manhood that makes them the men, right? But the perfect man has not been met yet. Because all these are shadows.
So how do you indicate perfect man?
Now, this theory was central to Plato's metaphysical views. This theory was central to Plato's metaphysical views and helped him distinguish, and helped him distinguish between appearance and reality. What appears to be a man in front of me might not be the reality of the man. Hello?
Yeah.
Does that mean Plato believes that there's another world?
Yes, I'm coming to that. That is why in the modern day, some philosophers would call Plato crazy. Because his ideas was that this world is not the reality. We're just living a shadow of the actual world. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Laying the groundwork for his ideas of knowledge and truth. Remember, I've told you, Plato's mind is already thinking in the sense that there is another world, the world that has the perfect representation of his ideas and forms. And this world that we are in is just a mere shadow of it, and things are imperfect because of it. Understand? Now, the next one we have is the allegory of the cave. Allegory also means story. So the allegory of the cave, represented in the Republic, remember the Republic I've said is one of the major dialogues that Plato is attributed to, is one of the Plato's most powerful metaphor. You know a metaphor? A metaphor is something in English, a metaphor can be a sentence used to mean deeper, other than what it means on the surface. It depicts prisoners chained in a cave, only able to see shadows on the wall, which they mistakenly believe to be the only reality. Okay, Prison Break. We've all watched Prison Break, right? So think of a person who entered prison when they were 18 and now they're 60, right? In their mind, the world is still when he was 18, right? But now, one person, or this person who was 18 and now is 60 in prison, gets to leave the prison and sees the actual reality of the world and where it is at. Therefore, whatever they were believing while they were in prison is not the reality. Okay? Now, one prisoner escapes and discovers the world outside the cave realizing the shadows were mere illusions. So these people were in a cave. Think about it like this. They were in a cave. They would see shadows and they would think that is what the world looks like. But one of them managed to escape. And when he or she went outside, he or she found out that, oh, then what we see inside the cave is not the actual reality of what is outside. Okay? Hello? Okay? The allegory represents the philosopher's journey from ignorance to enlightenment. Okay? Coming from a place where you don't know or you're being ignorant about the things that you know are the way the things are, then getting to be enlightened and being told, oh, this is actually not how things are, and this is the actual reality of the things. Symbolizing the philosopher's duty to lead others towards the truth and the knowledge. So according to Plato, this prisoner needs to come back and take all the other prisoners they were with, or tell them, oh, by the way, stop believing in the shadows of the cave. Outside is very different. Okay? Hello? Understand?
Yeah.
It also reflects Plato's view that most people live in ignorance, mistaking perceptions for reality. Hello?
Yep.
Most people live in ignorance, mistaking perceptions, how something comes off for it to be a reality. And that education is the key to understanding the deeper truths of the world. Hence why he's a philosopher, because he believes so much in education, right? So, to Plato, most of the world, as he saw it, was ignorant. Hello? Most of the world was ignorant because everything that he was seeing was people trying to perceive what they have in front of them as the reality of it. Yet, in real sense, it's not the reality, it's just the shadow of it. So, he wanted to enlighten people, to make people know that there is a reality that you might not know of, okay? But it's there. Just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean it doesn't exist, okay? Now, justice in Plato's Republic. In the Republic, Plato represents justice as the harmony of the soul and the state. Justice occurs when each individual and social class performs its proper role. In the ideal state, the rulers, Philosophers King, govern with wisdom. The auxiliaries, the soldiers, defend the state. And the producers, who are the workers, provide the material needs of the society. So justice in Plato's vision is not just about following laws. It's about creating a balanced, harmonious society where individuals contribute to the common good according to their abilities. So for Plato, justice was not just people doing well or following the rules or following laws. It was everybody in society needs to play their part very well and peaceful to have a just society. Hello?
Yep.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
This idea of justice as harmony. You know, harmony doesn't just mean peace. Harmony means balance. Everything working harmoniously. That means if we are the best way, you know, this old, how do you call them in English? The old thing to take water from a well, the boreholes, that one. In olden times, somebody would step on it, then this one pulls. Step, pull. Everyone has their own role in society. To make that thing work, to make justice work, we have to play our part. Whether you're a ruler of the place, whether you're a soldier to defend, whether you're a worker, everyone has to do the same thing differently, but well, for you to have a just society. So this idea of justice as harmony emphasizes social peace and stability. Okay? Now, what is the philosopher's king concept? You know philosopher, you know a king, you understand a little bit of Plato's ideologies. So in the Republic, famous dialogue of Plato, Plato proposes the concept of the philosopher king, an ideal ruler who governs based on wisdom and virtue rather than personal power or wealth. Hello? Understand?
Yeah.
So according to him, a philosopher king, having knowledge of the eternal forms, not what you perceive to be a reality. If you have the knowledge of the reality that exists, that is not here yet, particularly the form of the good, is uniquely qualified to lead because they understand what is truly just and beneficial for society. They don't just see what is here and what is now. They understand, oh, if I do this to this society, to this community, because I understand what is good based on the theory of the mind. Remember the reality and what is not here? Hello? Remember that theory? So the goodness, the idea of the goodness will be able to, if this philosopher or this leader understands the goodness part of it, then they can be able to do good. But if they don't understand the concept of the goodness, then anything that they perceive to be good, like stealing money for themselves, or taking some money and making yourself comfortable, that is good. But is that the idea of the goodness of leading people? You understand? Plato believed that only those who have reached the highest level of knowledge and virtue should hold the power. That means, keep in mind, he still believes in education as the only key to having great leaders. Now, knowledge, the education part of it, virtue, the ability to understand the idea of the reality versus what you see and what you perceive right now, should hold the power as they can make decisions that promote the common good and social harmony, ensuring peace and justice for all. That means, according to Plato, if a leader is not educated and doesn't understand the goodness that he should provide to his people, that person is not qualified to be a leader. I'll give you some homework. Look at your leaders. Think about them. Are they educated? Do they understand the goodness that can come from what they are doing? Or do they just perceive what is in front of them? Food for thought. Now, we go to the three-way soul and social harmony. Plato's tripartite theory of the soul suggests that the soul has three parts. Hello? You know a soul? Hello?
Yeah.
You understand soul? It's the essence that what makes us human, right? Everyone has a soul. So, according to Plato, there are three parts. Number one is the rational part, which is the part that reasons. Then you have the spirited, which is the emotional part, the will, the one that you believe with, okay? Then you have the appetitive part. This is the desires, the wants, the part of you that wants something. So you have the part of you that thinks, you have the part of you that has strong emotions or will for something, and then you have the part of you that just wants things, okay? Justice in the individual, for you to have justice in yourself, according to Plato, occurs when reason, your mind, what you think, rules over the spirit, what you have faith in, and rules over the appetite, what you want. Understand? Creating inner harmony. Harmony for Plato was not, inner harmony for humans, according to Plato, is not for all these things to be at the same level. No, for him, he says, your mind, what you think, what you reason, should be able to rule over what you feel and what you want. Hello? Understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Similarly, Plato applies this structure to society, where the rational class, being the philosophers or the people who rule, the spirited class, these are the people who are the soldiers who defend the country, and the appetitive class, which are the workers, serves the material needs of the society. This harmony among the parts of the soul and society is essential for justice and peace, according to Plato. So, knowing that the reason part has to rule over these two parts, he puts it in this sense. The leader needs to be a philosophical thinker. And keep in mind, he's already said that that leader has to have knowledge and virtue. Okay? So that leader, having the reason inside him and the knowledge and the virtue, should be able to lead over the soldiers or the desires or the will and the wants over the workers. But he can be able to lead in a justful way because he understands the society and he understands that whatever is in front of him is not just the reality. There is another reality, the goodness part of it. Understand? Kochai Mai?
เข้าใจครับ
Okay, education as a path to peace. Plato believed that education was the key to creating virtuous citizens and by extension, a just society. In the Republic, he outlines a rigorous educational system designed to cultivate wisdom, virtue, and leadership. The education of rulers, according to Plato in particular, must be comprehensive. Your leader should have a comprehensive education involving philosophy, mathematics, and physical training to develop both intellectual and moral excellence. Remember when I asked you to think about your leaders? Did they have a comprehensive education? Did it involve philosophy? Can they even do math? Are they physically trained to develop both intellectual and moral excellence? Plato's vision of education as a means of achieving peace underscores the importance of fostering wisdom and justice in leaders to promote social harmony and stability. For him, it was about education. And that person has to understand education first before they can lead a society. If they don't understand it, then according to Plato, he should not be a leader. Okay? And him founding the first academy was proof that he truly, truly believed in education. Okay? Communal welfare and governance. Plato argued that welfare of the community should be prioritized over individual wealth and personal gain. I will read it again if you didn't hear me the first time. Plato argued that the welfare of the community or the welfare of the many should be prioritized over individual wealth and personal gain. That means, as a leader, prioritize the people, the many before yourself. If leaders understood that, then the world would be so different than what it is today. Wouldn't you agree so? Yes? If leaders understood the first part of leadership, give it back before you take. Make sure everyone has before you have. That's why you're the leader. Otherwise, you would not have been a leader. You'd have stayed with the many and wait for your turn to be given. In the Republic, he advocates for a society where the leaders rule not for their own benefit, but for the common good. You choose to be a leader not because you want to make money, but you choose to be a leader because you want to change something. You want to do something different. But when you get there, you see, oh, 1 million baht just to do this. Okay. Now you start being clouded by the desires of what you want. Okay. This idea of communal welfare extends to the rulers and soldiers and workers, each contributing to the harmony and well-being of society. That means if you're a ruler, do it for everybody first, before yourself. If you're a soldier, protect them first before you protect your own house. If you're a worker, do the job for them first before you come and do your own jobs at home. That way, the society would grow together. Well, peaceful, just. Understand? Plato's vision of governance focuses on the collective good. Collective good. Everybody has to be good, ensuring that all members of society can live harmoniously and contribute to peace and stability. That means everyone has a role to play. It might be a small role, but it's still a role. Influence on later thinkers and governance. What did Plato influence on the other people that came after him? Plato's philosophical ideas have had profound influence on late thinkers and political theory. His ideas on justice, governance, and the role of education shaped the thought of philosophers such as Aristotle, St. Augustine, and Thomas Aquinas. His notion of the philosopher king, remember the philosopher king? We've talked about it. Also influenced the political theories, including the development of meritocratic ideas in governance. Meritocratic means it introduced the merit system that we have in governance. Merit being my leader should be 35 years of age and above. They should have a degree in this. Da, 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 da. The merit. If you don't meet the merit, then you can't get into governance. Plato's ideas continue to inspire modern political and educational systems, with his vision of justice as social harmony still echoing in contemporary discussions on governance and ethics. Plato described harmony, inner harmony, for those three things to balance, okay? So because of this, Plato is, I wouldn't say given the credit for everything he did, but we see his works in many more of the things that we have today, more than we'd like to admit. Plato's legacy in modern peace and governance. Plato's ideas on governance, justice, and education continue to resonate in modern political thought, as we have seen. Concepts such as the philosopher king and justice as harmony have influenced political leaders, educators, and philosophers throughout history. His emphasis on wise and virtuous leadership, as well as his vision of a harmonious society where each individual, every single one, contributes to the common good, remains a powerful model for peace and governance today. If we all do our part, if we all play our part, and each of us already has inner harmony and inner justice, then the society will be more peaceful, okay? Modern political systems still wrestle with these ideas, seeking ways to balance power, wisdom, justice in the pursuit of social peace. Thank you. Questions and discussions now.
Actually, as a student of philosophy, she has actually done marvelously very well.
Thank you.
Because it's very difficult to handle philosophers, especially Plato, Aristotle. Some of you will present other political philosophers. Those are easier ones. So, but in terms of Plato, my God. But the way she just handled it, oh my God, you won't understand. And I suggest before you ask questions, be careful so that you will not say what she didn't say, or you will not say what Plato didn't say. Very, very tricky. I don't know the word to use. So now let me open the floor for clarifications from other students. So question time, please.
Okay. For the question time, we're going to do it like this. How many first have a question? Let's start there. Nobody has a question. Okay.
Sometimes some people might not have now, but
how many have a discussion?
So
how many have a point of discussion?
Okay.
How many have a
Can
point
we
of
begin your first slide, case? Okay, because that is okay,
introduction to Plato.
Okay, so any question?
Yes, Collins.
Collins?
Okay, you said something about aristocrat. Please, I want you to tell us more. I don't understand what you mean when you say Plato is an aristocrat.
He's an aristocrat. So what's the meaning of aristocrat?
In my understanding, first of all, I didn't even remember to check the meaning of aristocrat. But in my understanding, from the little knowledge I know, an aristocrat is a person in the olden times who used to work for the government or the justice system then, and was in charge of like what we have as ministers now, something like that.
Okay, Mike is raising hand. Maybe he has something.
Okay. In my own understanding of who an aristocrat is, I think an aristocrat is an elite. Yes, and aristocrats are people in charge of leadership. Yeah, people in power.
roles,
Yeah. So
Okay, there's a group of people who
Yeah.
decide what happens.
What happens, yeah.
Influential people. Okay.
Okay, my question is about Plato's perfect world. Like,
Perfect
did he?
world.
Yeah. Did he mention how we can get there?
Now,
The perfect world was.
his idea is that perfect world.
Yeah, is it real? Is it a reality or is just from
It's
an idea?
it's how do I explain it? So from the theory of forms, he says that everything we see and everything we have, it's an idea, it's a form of something that already has the form of it in a reality, in a different world, in the perfect world. But he later goes on and says, for us to get there, we have to do this and this thing the way he gives us step by step. But that step by step does not get us there. That world will still remain out of our reach. But to him, we can make this one, the one we have, close to that. If we follow the goodness, the treeness to the perfection, we might not get to that world, the actual reality of it, but we can make this one as replicative as possible to that one.
For the
Plato is insane. Plato is crazy. That's what I've told you.
How will you create like another world and you think people can get there? How?
yeah, that is Plato for you.
Yeah, that is Plato. That's why I said people
But then
have called him crazy
But
now.
for the Christians, do you see any resemblance with the
Yes.
afterlife.
Perfect world, land of milk and honey.
No, actually, this is where the Christology started. Some people say that this is where the story of life after death, story of purgatory for the Catholics, and the story of heaven and hellfire. If you read Plato very well, Aristotle very well, and the person that baptized all these as Thomas Aquinas, and then carried it and gave it over to the church. I mean, there is a lot.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so I think Emmanuel has a question. If you enter into philosophy, then you know you have not learned anything. You know you have not started yet. That's why I say philosophers are the only leaders. Philosophers should be the only lecturer. Philosophers should be the only administrators. And indeed, I quite believe and agree with that. Because the basic of philosophy, you can easily dictate dangers. You can easily dictate enemies. You can easily dictate those who pretend around you that your friends. It's not that you're going to be perfect in such a way that you will not be brought down. You can, but the point is that most philosophers, they have the tools. Just as all of you in my class right now. Because I'm grounded in a little bit, not even too much in philosophy. Forget it. There's a secret behind certain things that personally I do. In order to protect myself, areas I can. And there are areas I cannot because we are human, whether you're a philosopher or not. So let's listen to Emmanuel Obi and know what he has anything tangible for us.
Actually, I must applaud you on
You
this
see
very
how her presentation is?
presentation.
Uh-huh.
I must
That's what I
acknowledge
expected
that.
when you were
Yeah.
Socrates.
And you know, when I look on the faces of the audience, I saw a bit confusion, and that is a power of philosophy.
Pardon?
I say that when the lesson was going on, you understand. So I look on the faces of the audience, and I saw a greater confusion Because if you delve into philosophy and the people you are trying to educate on that philosophical approach do not get confused, you are not talking about philosophy. So when there was a silence everywhere and I started looking on the faces, I see confusion because they are struggling to understand the concept of reality and the actual situation. You understand? And that's why I say I must applaud you on that. It's a very good presentation. My question is this. Okay, first, philosophy, when I say just should we keep on swimming in an illusion instead of actual situation? Now, why I say this is you made mention of perfect man. And what do you think that is the criteria to meet up with the perfection in man? First question.
According to Plato,
According to Plato, yes. Because the madness. No, she has to defend her own presentation.
Yeah.
That's why she's here.
oh, exactly.
So we see you as Plato now.
Okay, Madam Plato.
You understand? Because we are presenting his propanded theory. So this first question, how do we meet up with the criteria of perfection in man?
Okay, I'll answer that first.
Okay, answer first.
In my opinion, since I'm Plato,
Yeah.
so in my opinion of how to achieve the perfect man, the perfect world, first of all, we cannot achieve it. That's why it's an idea, it's a form in our minds. We cannot achieve it, but you're going to strive as hell to achieve it, but you can't get there.
Since we cannot achieve
It's a perfect world. It's a perfect reality.
Wait, because there is, when you say we cannot achieve perfection and you bring it up and you want us to keep swimming or struggling with the illusion instead of the actual situation. Now,
The thing is,
first one, because you say we cannot achieve it, which means the answer, I don't agree with that.
Okay,
because
don't, but let me
everything,
finish.
we as a human being, we try to meet up with the perfection.
Exactly.
You understand? So when
I
you
say
say that we
if I say
cannot,
we
wait,
cannot
hold on. Wait, I'm trying to say something. You answered. You said that we cannot achieve.
You came in. I'm trying to finish.
Bro, calm down. Do you want to be Plato? You can go there and ask you question. I have many of it. No, I asked. Wait. I asked first question, and she said that we cannot achieve the perfection. And I delved into to ask more of the question because her answer brought about another question that I want to impose.
Can I finish first the answer?
So you have to you answer first question. You answer brought another question. Okay, continue. But let us follow the due process, because the process is that when you answer a question, your answer might bring another question.
But
so
you
should wait. I ask you another, then you answer.
But I haven't finished the first answer.
You said that you cannot achieve perfection. Then if you brought another question.
No, but I haven't finished the sentence. Listen.
No, you just concluded.
Listen.
That we cannot.
Listen.
And I brought another question.
Listen.
Okay, go on.
Just because we cannot achieve.
Bro, I'm asking questions. Please, just allow me to ask questions, okay? This is a class. This is an academic class. And we ask questions to understand and learn. You understand? So she is here to defend her presentation. You understand?
Okay, let's do it. Emmanuel, ask the question.
Okay. Answer your question.
I was saying, we cannot achieve the perfect reality that we want. But that does not mean we're not going to try as hard as we can to get there. We will try. This is why Plato was saying we need to understand that is there and this is here. We need to understand the goodness, the treeness of it, and the one that you see in front. You are trying to make it better. You will never match that. But if you understand that you will never match it and you keep on trying, that is good society. That is what he's trying to say. He's not saying don't try because you can never achieve it. No, he's saying try it despite the fact that you know you might never achieve it. Does that make sense?
Of what means we have to try, because if you look at this, I can see that it's just a misleading concept, because when you are thinking or reflecting on a illusion, it will not give you a room to bring out the actual situation. You will keep on dreaming. Yes, because this is an erosion. You understand? And when you keep on that, you will see there is no basic provision of where or how we have to achieve this perfection. That is it. Okay, let me go to the second question. Now you said the madness. The madness. Now I bring it to you. Let's reflect on the things we see today. The madness in man, which means things that makes up a man.
Things that make a man a man.
Yeah. Now we have a lot of men that involved in transgender. So, having done this transgender, how do you now indicate the things that makes up a man? Now, how do you indicate the man? Because the madness in man is what makes up a man. When there is a transgender, when transgender existed in man, what is the madness again?
Okay, I will answer this in two ways. One
Okay.
as Plato, one as Chelsea.
Okay.
Because to be honest with you, in a classroom, these are very many different people with very different ideas and their own opinions of the same question. I know what you're asking. You're asking in layman's terms, is a transgender man a man? Isn't that what you're asking? As Chelsea, I would say yes. Hold on. As Chelsea, I would say yes. As Plato, I would say no. Because Plato said, whatever is in that man, that manness, if that manness cannot be seen in a transgendered man, they cannot be called a man. Okay? Not just the physical. Hold on. It's not just the physical, because what transgender people do is try to look like the gender physically first. Because what society sees is the first impression, what they see.
Okay.
So if they see a woman with boobs, they'll say a woman. If they see a flat-chested person, they'll say a man. Before actually knowing they're transgender. Okay? So, as Plato, I would say, if that transgendered man doesn't have the manness that makes up a man, that cannot be considered a man. But as Chelsea, being very political about it right now, I would say, man, woman, whatever you want to do, it's a free world where we live in today.
Okay, let me come a little bit in answer to, in support of, just a moment. In little addition to what he said, I think I may be wrong also, because we, as I say, we have to be tactful in dealing with Plato. Plato is not a person you just want to jump into anyhow. So, and he's a great philosopher too. In Igbo land, they say, no briefing in the buamo bunwoke. It's on the fact that you're a man and you have a dick does not necessarily mean that you behave like a man. That sometimes some ladies are stronger, and then they are brave. They are very, very centered and strong-willed. In other words, in the concept of Plato, you can see a woman who is actually possessing the madness of a man, if we follow it that way.
Yeah.
Then the same thing with some men, you see them jumping and behaving like a woman. Some of us, especially, I mean, somebody like myself, I came into this world with my nature. You see? But then, in Plato's concept, you can only, when the person acts, you'll be able to know whether he possesses that brevity, okay? Yes. Brevity, that which he considers a man to be, a brave person in his own concept. So it's not because the person because he's having a masculine body, therefore he's a man. Let him act, and then we will know whether he actually possesses that madness of a man.
Yeah.
Then if he imagine that he's a transgender, cut off his dick already, it does not really matter for him until when he acts, then we will know whether the man is still there or the physiological changes that may not have anything to do with the madness of a man, according to Plato. Remember, according to Plato. So that is the little side I will come into it. So whether you're transgender or you are not, it's just, as you said, just a reflection, perception we can see. But then what he considered to be a perfect man remains that, the whatness of a man. In Latin, they say the quiddity, the essence. That what that is, and that what that should be is meant to be. Oh, yes, these are very tactful things anyway. So that's the little I can add to it.
Prof, this, I think you giving answer to this, you should come at the last stage, because this is our stage and you're paving into our stage, giving her more of a ground to defend herself.
Just said what I said.
Yes. No, you couldn't have done that, because this is our own stage. No, it changed every narrative here. No. You have already gave her the point to defend.
But I already did say it.
Because at this stage she's confused.
No,
Yes, at this stage she's confused, and that's why I want to take the advantage to place her there. But now you have already given her the ground and everything, the idea to defend herself now.
Philosopher is very tactful.
And that is why you could have allowed me to ask the question. Then you will come at the last stage and clarify.
I answered you.
No, you have already given her the ideas now. After changing the whole narrative, look at, after changing the whole narrative, what again do you want me to ask on this? Right? You came up with the point.
Yes, your question was answered by me.
You came up with the point I want to use against her.
But
don't say no. He understood what I'm saying. He just changed the whole narrative.
Wanted to use against me. Me as who? Plato or Chelsea?
Because you are here sitting like a Plato. You need to defend yourself.
I answered I answered him before you even came in. I had already answered.
You haven't even answered. I'm about to ask you a lot of questions.
I said the same thing as what the professor said.
You see, my dear.
No,
let me even tell you. This is a class of argument. You see, this presentation is matter of logic.
Okay.
Do you understand?
We get it.
It's matter of logic, and we are delving into human existence as well. Okay. You understand? So, and every answers you are giving me in this philosophy approaches now, we pave the way for me to ask you more and more questions. This is philosophy we are doing here.
Okay.
You understand? Don't tell me that, bro. This is a class. I have every right to ask questions, and you don't need to limit me. You know, this is a class. This is an academic environment. So, third question. Okay, you good. You answered that one. Prof, I've already given you credit.
Is it a competition?
I need that. No, another one is coming. Yes.
What time is it? I don't know.
Now that.
No, so I have work tomorrow, and I live 2 hours away, so I have to worry about the time.
I'm almost done, my dear. Just calm down.
I'm not your dear. I'm Chelsea. Please.
I'm almost done. Okay.
You call everyone by their name, right?
Okay, Chelsea. Oh yeah, wait.
Are you angry? Are you angry?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, my dear.
You are angry. Your tone sounds so aggressive on me.
Because I'm defending.
We are here to learn.
Yes.
You are here to learn. I wish people that are here is philosophers and political.
Ask your question.
It won't pave a way for misunderstanding.
It's okay. Ask your question.
Now you made mention of the way things should be. The way things should be when you were giving an introductory part of a Plato concept. The way things should be. How do you think, in your own view,
as Chelsea or Plato?
As anybody.
Okay.
Now, how do you think that, or how do you measure the way things should be? How do you measure the way things should be in the society?
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me an example of what things should be in a society.
Now you talk about justice.
Justice,
You talk about good governance.
good governance.
Now,
Did you understand what I said
how
makes up a good
now
governance?
you wait? I'm answering you. I said you talk about justice. You talk about good governance, and you made mention of how things should be. That is the point. How things should be, because in governance you have to govern the way it should be. So my question is, how do you think things should be? How do you think things should be?
Okay.
In as much as being positive,
Okay.
how do you think things should be? Yeah.
In terms of justice and good governance,
Yeah.
I will answer this because you said I have a choice to choose.
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
I-
choose, yeah.
I'll answer it as Plato.
Okay.
So according to Plato, how things should be already exists in this other reality. Okay? And according to how he interpreted it, he said justice occurs. Justice occurs when the reasoning, what you think, is ruling over what you feel and what you want. Let's start there. Understand?
Uh-huh.
So according to him, that is justice. If your reasoning rules above what you feel and what you want, if you're having, let's say you want Snickers and you feel heartbreak, and then your mind is telling you, oh, don't go and buy the Snickers just because you feel like this. Wait, hold on a little bit. If you're able to hold on a little bit, that is justice within you. That is peace. That is harmony. Because your mind has the ability to rule over these other two things. Okay? Now, translating that into good governance.
Yes.
A philosophical king, according to Plato, the philosopher, when he talked about the Philosophers King, he said, a leader who possesses that inner harmony and justice will make up a good, like a good leader. Okay?
How?
So if we have people who are in governance and all of them have that inner harmony, then according to me as Plato, I think that they should be able to have good governance because that is the basis of my theory. Okay?
Okay. You said how the way you reason is the way you're gonna act it upon.
No, the way you reason should rule
Should.
over what you think,
Should rule.
what you feel, and what you want. Your
That is
desires.
actions. That is actions. What you think determines your actions.
Yeah, but it should rule over your
So,
actions.
but my own view here is that you are not specific, because we as a human, we can think negative and act it as well. You understand? According to what you just said now,
Yeah.
what you think rules over what you're gonna act on. You understand?
It should
So it
rule
should.
over what you
Yeah,
feel.
whether it should, there is an action there.
So what
It-
you think, if you think
So-
negatively, is it a thought
So
or is
now
it a feeling?
reflecting it to the governance, you understand, which means those people who don't have the capacity to think a positive thing in
Yes.
governance, and they're putting it in action is what it should be first. Because
What did you say?
I just use this narrative now.
Say it again.
I said, according to what you said here by Plato, what you think
Should rule over.
should rule over what
you
you
feel.
act or what you
I
feel.
didn't say what you act. I said
No.
what you feel and what you
What you
desire.
feel is what you're gonna act. If you feel
No,
sad, you act.
that is
Yes.
the problem now. According to my theory, feel,
Feel.
emotion, will, want, desire, what you want.
Okay.
Logic, rational, think,
Yeah.
what you think. So what
Yes.
you think should rule over what you want and what you desire, what you feel, your emotions.
All those things,
There's no
you are
way I've
just
mentioned
running away.
act.
You are running away from the
I'm
question
not
now.
running away from
Now
the
reflect
question.
it to the governance.
I just did. When I said every person who has the inner harmony, if they are in a leadership position, according to Plato, these people is what will make up good governance.
So which means when a leader thinks negative, or when, for example, the leader who is leading may be annoyed by the wife, get upset and took a decision that is not relevant to the society. That is the feeling.
Using your logic, if the leader is annoyed by the wife, that is a feeling, right?
Yes.
But his rationale should tell him not to react rationally or irrationally because he has the knowledge and he'll be able, like, okay, I'm having problems at home, but this is my job, I have to do good, I have to do this. That is what it means.
But remember what we said, what we think is should rule your feelings, which means if my wife got me upset, I will use because of what I think. Wait. I will use it. I will use because my wife got me upset because most things, this thing you just said now happens in everyday life. Yes. You know, when you come to class, most of the lecturers, not here in the school, but we experience that most of the lecturers may be annoyed by the brother or the sister or the wife getting to the school because of the sadness, because of the feeling. They will exhibit their feelings on the student, transferring the aggressions in mind. Which means, with what we said, the basis of what we said here is what I'm using to reflect on the governance. Should we agree on Plato on what you think rule your feelings are the side of negative impact? Because you are not being specific here. If you tell us,
I will use your own example to make it easier for you. This is what I'm saying, okay? Remember, Plato has already given us a theory about his thoughts on education and how he thinks every leader should be knowledgeable and virtuous. Okay, let's start there. So in this leader's mind, in his rational mind, he needs to be knowledgeable and virtuous. Let's start there. Now, if he is angered by his wife, that does not affect his mind, it affects his feelings, his emotions, his will. Hold it. It affects your will. It's a feeling that you feel you've been angered. Anger is a feeling. It's not a thought. It's a feeling. I feel angry. I feel sad. I'm happy. I'm feeling this. Feelings. Anger is a feeling. Okay? So, he's been angered by his wife. He feels that fear, that anger, that, if his mind is knowledgeable and virtuous, and his mind rules over his feelings and desires, he should not come to work angry the next day.
He should not do what?
Come to work angry the next day.
And if there is emergency?
Even that same day, if he works,
so he should use
the moment he walks out and goes into the governance role, his mind should rule over what he feels and what he wants to do. Whether he wants to punch a wall, whether he wants to bang his hand, his mind should tell him, don't do it.
Let me tell you. Okay, now the mindset, the state of our mind determines our action. How we feel determines how we exhibit our character. If you feel sad, people will wait. If you feel sad, you're gonna exhibit a sad character on people. You're gonna transfer your aggressions. You understand? Now, our emotion take more impact in controlling our decision.
That's what you think.
First. No, this is what you said here. Yeah. If there is absence of harmony in man's life, there is no peace. You understand? Yeah. So when a man is being upset by the wife and the harmony is not there, which means what the man gonna give to the society is a what? Unpeaceful decision. First, I don't want to pave into that because I don't want to waste time. I have another question for you. Second one is, can we we talk about wisdom and knowledge, virtue. You understand? Now, can you separate wisdom from knowledge? Does it mean that everybody who is learned and educated has the wisdom?
You know the answer to that is no. You know and I know that. So
now, since there is no in this, and most people who are experts in the field, who studied political science, philosophy, you understand? Public administration. Let's just shift philosophy apart.
No, we're not shifting because I'm here to answer questions about Plato.
No problem. Let us include philosophy. Not everybody, because learning and education never guarantees a wisdom.
I agree with you 100%.
You understand? So since it never agrees with wisdom, and Plato stating that it is only the learned, it is only the knowledgeable people who are fit in the field to carry on the affairs of the state. Why those people who are learned, becoming an expertise in the field, don't have the wisdom? Because leadership is all about sense of what? Wisdom. If you like, let me refer you to the Bible. What happened? Wait. Let me refer you. I will conclude there. You answer now. Let me refer you to what happened in the Bible. King Solomon, he was recorded as the wisest king, which means leadership is all about wisdom, not only knowledge, because knowledge cannot beget that wisdom we're talking about. So if people who are learned in that field of politics or public administration don't have what it takes, which is wisdom, to carry on the affairs of the state, how do you not separate this wisdom and knowledge? How do you not know people who can carry on since there is no wisdom there? That is a question.
Okay.
Okay.
To answer your question, are you done? Is that the last question, by the way?
Yeah.
I'm looking at time. because-
What?
Is that the last question? Because I'm looking at time.
Oh, you're looking at time.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That is the last question.
It's the
That is the
last
last question. Answer.
And my answer should not generate more questions. Okay.
Why now? If your answer generate another question, I ask you back. So what are
Okay,
you?
answer. Let's allow
Yes. Okay. This
You
is
see,
the.
there's another thing I want to
Prof, wait.
I'm talking about my class. There's another thing I want you guys to understand, actually. You know, just like what Chelsea said about perfection of Plato. If you want practical example, it's just in this class now. When Emmanuel is bombarding, coming up with questions, most of us are interested in going home.
It's not
And,
about going home.
No,
sir.
wait.
It's-
Hold on.
Honestly, it is.
Hold
late.
on.
we are talking about.
Just hold on. I am the one.
I'm not a leader, am I?
No,
Excuse
just
you.
hold on. Because I'm looking at the classes and I know who is paying attention. And, those who want to go home, I'm not saying that they shouldn't go home. Because, this is master's degree, you are free to do whatever you want. But the point is that when Plato was talking about perfection, he's talking about the reality, just like Chelsea said. That sometimes you see people standing up, but they are there, but they are not actually there. Someone might be in this class, but is already off. His physiological self is here. His body is here, but psychologically is not here. Either he is in his house, or maybe he has an appointment, but he's here. So that is one of the things we have to look into sometimes when we understand this concept of Plato. And even some of us here are not comfortable with heated argument and questions in class. Not because of any other thing. Some of us might be because you want the class to end, to leave. These are realities about life. So I just want to use it to point out into what Plato is actually saying. As someone might even come to you and pretend to be a friend, and then blah 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 blah, and it comes to you and I kind of sycophant praises you in the face, and at the back it is something else. Try to understand the philosophy of Plato. So I just want you guys to just understand it within this class, within the context of this class. Because if as Emmanuel consistently asks his question, that's what class is all about. That's what we paid for. We are not here in this class sometimes just to, after PowerPoint presentation, everybody goes home. Of course, you do that in other classes, not in mine. So in this, my own, that creates this kind of enabling free style of asking questions. I will always suggest you guys abide by it. So let me give chance to Chelsea to round it up so that we know where we are heading to.
Okay. His question was about wisdom and knowledge. Now, I've presented on knowledge. Whoever presents on wisdom and talks about wisdom, you've talked about King Solomon. What about the people who don't believe in the Bible? What about the people who don't have a religion? How will they relate wisdom from Solomon's story to wisdom in leaders? Now, I'm not saying leaders should not be wise. I'm saying, as Plato and as a person who is presented on Plato, that knowledge is what he strives for. Education is what he says should be. So your question technically should be, how knowledgeable should a person be to be a leader? not whether wise or knowledge. It should be how knowledgeable. Is a university degree knowledgeable enough? Is master's? Is it a PhD? Is it life knowledge? Is it apprenticeship knowledge, learning from someone else? Because Plato learned from Socrates. He just made his learnings different, but he learned everything he knows from him. Most of Plato's work is written off of Socrates. That's knowledge. It might not be the form of knowledge that you and I think, but it is knowledge. So when Plato says a leader needs to be knowledgeable, the mind, that mind needs to be able to understand situations, both from a quote unquote textbook point of view and from life. That's knowledge, in my view, not wisdom. Wisdom comes with age, according to English. You can be 19 and be wise and knowledgeable, right? But do you understand the point that Plato made? You understand the point that Plato made?
You said
Please, next week I may try to. Who is the person teaching?
Dixon.
1 p.m. 1 p.m. Who's the lecturer?
Surapol.
Singapore. I may like to liaise with Singapore so that may take this time from 1 p.m. down, so that we can round up this class and concentrate on the test. Because we're already behind the time. And moreover, I have handled this class more than I can teach. Because most times we go home late. In fact, I have done my required weeks. We are in 15 weeks in my checking of weeks, but the classes are just 13 weeks, and yet we have not finished. So I will try to know if it is possible for him. Do you have presentation with Sarah?
No,
No, just last class. Just normal teaching, huh?
his last class is coming up because we have Surapol twice, morning and afternoon, different units.
Yeah,
And-
so I will talk with him if
Yeah.
he can give me either one. That's Sunday, right?
Yes.
Either one Sunday, so that we round up because if you observe, and these are very important topics, and mostly it comes up when we retire. Because everybody will like to go, including myself. Okay.
Yes, please. Honestly.
actually, in regards to what you just said now, when we talk about philosophy, because this is a philosophical concept you are presenting,
I know.
and when you talk about philosophy, it has everything to do with wisdom. That's why we call philosophers are the lovers of wisdom. So, so far as you are talking about the concept in philosophy, it has attached itself in wisdom. If you are now the person you are presenting the theories or the dialogue he has already put down is a student. He was a student of Socrates, and what the dialogues, the conversations he made with Socrates, there is wisdom there. There is knowledge and there is virtue. And I saw a slide when you say philosopher king. Philosopher what? King concept. Who are we attributing as the philosopher king? People who are knowledgeable enough, people who are embodied with wisdom. These are people we refer as philosopher kings. So when you are trying to run away from this wisdom, it gives you an incomplete thought of it, because knowledge and wisdom intertwine.
Are they the same?
Yeah, I'm not saying that they are the same, but they have a connection
There
a
you go.
little, because with your intuitive knowledge and wisdom, you can move a society to the
Okay.
betterment. You understand? So
it.
you don't need to run away saying that
I'm not
Plato did
running
not.
away. Excuse
No,
myself, please.
Okay.
because in philosophy,
In order to add to something that before Chelsea, that is, if some of us are still here, in my own view, if you're observant, the West, they are growing, developing on daily basis, I guess, based on some of these principles. But in the South, including Africans, I doubt if we are here. because concept of knowledge for us, I think we have been dismantled in such a way that we tend to think that once you get money, then every other thing doesn't matter. If you can step on anybody's toes, provided you have money, you can do whatever you want to manipulate situations, provided you get what you want. So at the end of the day, that is what exactly one of the way I understand it, Plato is moving at as well. Because when you get the standard, when you get the main thing that matters, when you get the main system, put the system ongoing, do not look at anybody. The system is system. But the point is that even as we all gather, some of us in Africa, let's say, let me use Africans as an example, we get PhDs, we get post-PhDs. But you don't forget that even in the just concluded election, they were all professors. Are you getting the point? That's one of the things Plato is talking about. It's not about just like Emmanuel B is saying, it's not about knowledge because you have degrees here and there, but the wisdom. And that wisdom is loaded. And Chelsea put it very well. I think you guys, I hope you learned a lot from Chelsea's presentation and the way he put up her own PowerPoints. And I think in my own view, she was very deep into this kind of Plato. But the Plato is a very difficult person to understand to some extent. And she made it very clear. So just understand that is if you want to. Look at the way we have been made, even some of us in developing countries. Every stage in our life, we are busy. Busy, if you ask me, most of the time, busy doing nothing. Every stage, we want something else. And then that something else is that it doesn't even satisfy everything that we want. And that is why some of us, when we gather in the classroom, we pay a hell of money to study a master's degree. And yet, our concept of understanding and getting the knowledge or wisdom, if I may use the word, is just clouded. It's clouded because when we even in the classroom, we are busy. Even in the classroom, we are busy. How many of us have read this Plato before coming to class, coming to this class, knowing fully well that we're going to study about it? If I ask one after the other, you'll find out that not maybe in the scale of 10, it might be only 0.5. And I don't know, maybe because most of us are from developing countries. And we behave like that everywhere we found ourselves. And we are being treated like that all the time. But I bet you, when you see some of these people that sometimes we try to pull down, we try to fight, I don't think they studied that way. Currently, I have a lot of German students in my class. I bet you, come on. The difference is so far away. And I understand why, maybe because their government is taking care of them, maybe. And I understand also, but we have been made, some of us in developing countries have been made and put in this way that we keep struggling. I don't know how to the best way to put it. We keep struggling, but then we don't even situate the danger because in every stage we are, we want something else. Okay, for example, you roll in this program, you are using the student visa, and that's all you need to get something else. So sitting in this class becomes a camouflage. And that's why we're always busy, because we don't consider the class as old stuff. We don't consider the class as well we get something to the something somewhere else. We only consider it so long as it gives us the visa for something else. This is another area that we need to situate if we really understand the reality this man, Plato, is talking about, and perception, deception. And that's why I talk about allegory of the cave. Some people were in the prison, inside the cave, and they were looking at the shadow. And one of them happened to come out from that shadow and then came back to them to tell them, look at how this shadow is. Look at how they killed him. Hello?
Hello.
Are you guys getting the point? Look at it there. I think Chelsea wonderfully put it there. So, the allegory of the cave. Someone there, about 10, let's talk about 20 persons inside the prison. Let me use the word prison. And they were there seeing a shadow of something. And one of them left them, and after he must have discovered what the reality of it, and came back to tell them, and they killed him. Are you getting something there? Anyway, this is not a philosophy class, but if you really want to add to your knowledge, my brothers and sisters, philosophy is the greatest tool in this life. And I bet you, if not that, I wouldn't be where I am here in this country. And that's why some people, when they come around me, they tend to think I'm sophisticated and I'm an enigmatic person. No, sometimes there are certain basic knowledge that you get about humanity, not about perfection. Remember, we're not talking about perfection. Like Plato says, it's not about perfection because I don't think anybody is perfect. It's about you getting something that will lead you to the main thing, getting the essence of what makes you survive in life. And that essence is not all about getting a degree, actually. There's more to that. After all, some of us are working, but they never had a degree. Some of us are better in life, but they never had any degree. So do you know the person that somehow, I think, is referring to? And he left, and he came to tell them the truth, and they killed him. Do you know the person?
Jesus.
Huh?
Jesus.
Yeah, some people say Jesus. You are very correct also. But philosophically, Socrates, the teacher. Yeah. Why did they? Do you remember last time Emmanuel presented? Socrates was killed because he was accused of spoiling the youths. Why? Because he was gathering the youth to tell them how to think, so that they understand what elites are doing, that the way they are doing it, and why it is against them. So they connived and then put him in jail, even when Socrates had every reason to run away. They decided not to run away. And they killed him. So this man, Plato, is a student for Socrates who loved his teacher so much that almost everything, just as Shasi said, almost everything he wrote about this man was attacking, trying to use everything the way they treated the man. And that is the concept of his philosophy, in my own view. Nowadays, do we still have people who trust their teacher? Do we still have the one? Just including myself, we're all selfish and self-centered to a large extent, believe it or not. Just look at in this class, everybody wants to go. Not going because of anything, because you have something else. And that's why I ignore all of you. This is my class. And somebody is presenting, and I'm paying attention to his questions. And that's why most often in my class, people get grade based on questions, not actually sitting in my class waiting for time to go home or begin to, after chatting for your own selfish interest. This is my own interest. And you're sitting on it, and you want me to close it down because someone is asking questions. Come on. You know, when a variegated interest meets, sometimes it crashes, sometimes it could lead to something else. Everybody, that is why sometimes when you come into a class like this, and you know you are not, just comfortably leave. Do not create a tension, and do not tell someone doing the right thing to shut up, simply because you are not buying by his own idea or the way he's hitting up the class, asking questions. Come on, why not pack your things and leave? Nobody is forcing you to be here because you're not a slave of anybody. So what am I trying to say? We may try to understand this in this context as well, because that is all about what Plato, in my own view anyway, what Plato is saying. And I'm very, very thankful to you, Chelsea, because you really, how will I put the word? You really killed it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was very, very difficult. And I thank myself too when I was making the selection. I knew that she's intelligent enough to handle Plato, frankly speaking. I didn't just put all of it and whatever I gave. I know she will, and she was never disappointed. So I don't know whether this has affected the question they asked because I want to round up. Can you round it up? What was the question? The last question I asked. Permit me to attend to that one so that we can round up. What was that question?
I asked her because she made mention of knowledgeable people who are fit in the leadership environment. So, but she's not adding up to those who are embodied wisdom.
Okay.
So,
That question is very, very important. That is actually the concern of Plato, because he was so angry that they killed the master because they are knowledgeable, but they They don't have anything. They are non-entities. That is why they don't understand between A and B. And that is why even the people that are knowledgeable enough, they were able to kill a man that is philosopher, a man that is a just man. So the question is relevant actually because it's all about getting to the way, being wise. I think that's why it's coming. And that's what this man is also saying. Being wise. It's not about education. I don't know the best way to explain it. But I wish that some of us will understand that there is more to life than what we are holding on to now. Do you remember what I was talking about? This scarcity mentality I was saying of somebody that came into the country. He just came into the country today. He has already started fighting someone that brought him into the country. A month after that, or thereabout, I can't remember vividly, he needed the help of that person again. Wisdom is not about what you know. It is more than that. I don't know if do you know, can you tell us about wisdom? Do you have any clue about what is wisdom? The difference between wisdom and knowledge.
In my opinion, as Chelsea, wisdom and knowledge, they might be different because they're very different in a sense. Knowledge is what I use knowledge as a factual thing, the facts of the world, the facts of how things work. But wisdom is the ability to know the facts and know the difference between what is right and what is wrong, what is just and what is good, what is bad. The ability to differentiate that, not just in the sense of coming back to Plato, not just in the sense of the reality that we have in front of our eyes, but the sense of this should be like this because this form is not the perfect form. For example, if I'm a leader and I'm knowledgeable or I'm wise or I have all these things, I should be able to look at situations not just on the view, on paper. Don't look at it from a two-dimensional part of it. Let me use that example. I should be able to look at a situation and think, okay, how is the perfect form or the perfect reality supposed to be? And does this look like that? And how can I make it better? How can I look at it now from 3D and be like, oh, now this makes more sense? I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying, but I'm saying the ability of a leader, what I understood from Plato, the ability of a leader is to be able to have that mind. And the one thing he said that can start that mind is education. Hello?
Yep.
The one thing that can start that thought process is education. And any form of education is okay as long as it's education. Now, without the education, you can't start that process of wisdom in that person's mind. If they don't, without the foundation, which is education, the base for anyone knowledgeable or wise, the foundation has to be education. Whichever form of education that is, that's where we start. That's where the mind is formed. To think like this, think like that. Then you have, oh, so if I think like this, I can make this out of it. But if you don't have the basis of it, then you cannot be considered knowledgeable and wise, according to Plato. Make sense?
Okay, let's round it up. Let's do the last one so that I conclude.
Actually, when I asked this question for the first time, you say that you don't have anything like wisdom, and you ask me differences. Now, and I answered the question that the wisdom and knowledge they intertwine. They work in parapasum. You understand? They work in hand to hand. Now, you are saying that without the basis of education, that you can't exercise your wisdom, right? And where is experience? Yes, where is experience? There are people who are not educated, but they are embodied with wisdom.
I understand that. Now,
So you saying that you saying that
knowledge-
without education,
Yes, my knowledge
that you
will-
cannot
yes.
exercise your wisdom
I will
is
let
wrong.
Yes, I will let the professor talk over because my knowledge has stopped there. That is where my mind capacity is reached.
Let's round up.
For me, I think knowledge is being aware of realities through experience, maybe through lived experience or through experiences of other people. Why wisdom is you knowing those things and putting it into application. It's kind of knowledge is you knowing, being aware of something. Then wisdom is applying that thing that you know. Yeah, that is what wisdom is, and that is my own understanding of what wisdom is when you apply what you know. People now see you that you are wise. That is the application of the things that you know, and yeah, that is people see that okay, he has wisdom because first of all you are aware that this thing is, and then you apply it
Yeah.
practically. That is wisdom.
You got it right. You know why I asked her this question? Because she basically,
She was basically focusing on only education, forgetting that knowledge is not all about educational method, that we acquire knowledge through experience and understanding different things people act in our environment. And when we talk about education, education is just what what I say is an ingredient that helps us to build the knowledge. But when we talk about knowledge, it has everything to do with the basis of what experience we had both in the past and what we want to achieve in the present, which will determine the ability of us taking decision and applicating the decision in the governance. So you got it right, bro. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for your heated questions. I call them a probing questions because they are probing questions because these are questions that elicit a lot of things. The questions that elicit so many other things that we're supposed to look into. And I'm very thankful to you, Chelsea. In fact, there's no better way to have presented this topic. So let's end with the fact that he said, Plato believed that only those who have reached highest level of knowledge and virtue should hold power as they make decisions and that promote the common good and social harmony, ensuring peace and justice for everybody. So with this, I would like to hear from every one of you as a summary of today's class. Don't waste our time. What are you going home with? So please, Emmanuel, can you take this there? I want to hear from every student. What are you going home with today? Haven't seen this part. Can you ask Chelsea? After that, if he wants to go, she can go. Let Chelsea start. What are you going home today with?
I think I'll go home with two things. First is on the origin and development. I go home with that just because the olden times look so olden might not necessarily mean it was all that bad. Yeah. And for the modern time, just because we have technology and everything, it does not mean that we don't have our own challenges in this world that we're living in currently. On the point of Plato and his concepts, I've read so many books because of him, because of the presentation and everything. But I think Plato's concepts are what we should use to shape our leaders. However, his concepts are also flawed in a sense because he has an idea of a reality that we cannot see. So it becomes very hard and very challenging to argue that reality if you cannot see it. Because man, we see with our eyes, we feel things with our eyes. So if you cannot see it, you cannot understand it. And I think that is the main challenge that Plato faces as with his concepts, because his concepts are very philosophical and they're very broad and very interpretive. That means the way you see it might be different from me. Otherwise, his concepts are what we should use to define a leader and to pick leaders in our society. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Yes.
Okay, Smith, summarize. What did you learn? Sometimes on your laptop, that I don't know whether you're in the class at all or you're doing something else.
No,
So
I'm
what are
here.
you going home with today?
Yeah, I'm going home with the idea about the Stone Age and the modern day. I give credit to the Stone Age. Those people did extremely well. Yeah, and the modern age, I also give them credit because they are also advancing, to a new life. Based on Plato concept, I learned two things about him concerning peace. He said that you have to get peace with yourself before you can give the society peace. If you don't have peace with yourself, how can you give peace? And the other one that he said concern, concerning about leader, a leader should be wise and learn how you call it, instead like learn deeply about the state you are going to lead, something like that. You said about trying to read it. So that's what I got to understand about him. About wisdom is for leader. It's not knowledge. Knowledge is not all about to become a leader. You need wisdom to lead the people. So that's my view.
Okay, wonderful. Edu,
What I'm going home with is I will talk on Plato's suggestion. You know, we cannot give what we don't have, and as a leader, by so doing, like giving what you don't have, you are causing more issues to the already problem at hand. Because it's not all about having problem. It's all about the solution to the issues. So in Plato's suggestion, he said that any leader should possess the qualities which are virtues, wisdom, and knowledge. That any society that their leader lacks this quality is prone to crisis. Then moving forward, he'd made mention of ignorance, that people believe in perception of reality. And the key way to tackle this is education. In essence, education gives us the means.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. What I'm going home today, I will talk about the Stone Age because I think from the Stone Age to the modern society, I still give credit to the Stone Age, and I think before getting to the modern society, we started from somewhere. So then going to Plato's idea, I think I'm going home with what he said about governance. He said that people who should be in power or people who should be in governance should be people who are knowledgeable enough to be in that field so that they will know how to face issues.
Yeah. So, what I'm taking home today is about when Chelsea explained about the concept of Plato's perfect world. I understand what I understood is that it was not actually referring to like a physical place, like even a real place, like not reality. It's just like an idea. Plato was actually referring to an idea, just like a guideline to help man, to help us to strive for an ideal society, not like an actual place, just an idea and guideline for human to strive to make a better society and all. Yeah, it's just like a framework to help people approach justice, um, to help people approach justice and peace, in a society. Yeah, that's it.
Something. Okay. My take home for this class is that philosophy is the bedrock of knowledge, the foundation of knowledge, and as everybody should strive to understand philosophy because it will actually give us insights to how we live our lives in our society, and it will help us. It will help the society. Um, it will help the society to be governable, and it would help us innovate as people. Transition to help us move from one level in our society to another. Just like we saw from the beginning that there are stages to existence. First stage, second stage, third, fourth, fifth. You're on the fifth stage now. So philosophy will actually help us to move to the next stage of evolution. Thank you.
Okay, Afghanistan, has you?
Well, today we have learned a lot of things, especially a philosophy. It basically means life is philosophy and philosophy is life. It's related with everything, every single thing of your life, from the daily issues to the critical thinking. And if you bring the wisdom that we have discussed a lot about the wisdom and knowledge. So, wisdom that you have like a gift, or it comes with your thinking and positive approach that brings the wisdom. And of course knowledge is also very important. It's lighten your wisdom. And yeah, as we see, like a good leader, to be a good leader, to be a justice man, and to balance both sides and know the common interests of the society.
Emmanuel Ngozi, can you talk first before Emmanuel Obi summarizes?
Okay, let's start from the first stage. I was able to understood that in every aspect of life, there must be a stage by stage. Then comparing it to the earlier life or earlier people, I think the first stage of people, they tried very well, but I can say that even on their own turn, people were dying also. There are many sicknesses also which they will not be able to diagnose, which led to some people who died that we are not recorded. So we only know about those philosophers, which among many, many people on that age, it was few people that we are hearing their name today. So putting it on today's word, which is the number fifth, yeah, we also have many people who are doing some ideas. So it doesn't mean, I will say that this present generation is better than the first stage because, number one, during their turn, people were dying. And during this turn also, people will die. People are dying. But that doesn't mean that they didn't try. They tried on their own aspects. So on this, our own generation, I think we also are trying. Maybe within you, you might not try on your own, but other people are also trying. Even till tomorrow, many people are coming out to do their this thing. So, and also during this our turn, I think, anyway, uh, we have, I think, most of these people, I think they still reconnect because if you check the whole world, maybe somebody like this man might be existing somewhere. I don't know. So maybe me standing here might be someone that was born during the stage. Then I reconnect to today. Then I'm here. So I think we all also are part of. As
So who do you incarnate? Are you Socrates? Are you Plato?
I don't know because during my turn, so I think this century, because if we come in terms of asking this food we are consuming today, the medicine we are consuming, everything we are consuming that they are poisonous to our health, we also have to understand that everything has a rule. So I also want us to understand that everything has a rule. A rule that you know that alcohol kills. Then every day you continue drinking alcohol and be telling us that it's so dangerous. Put down now, let me finish. You know that, you say that alcohol kills, too much alcohol. Then you have to do what? You have to control it. You know that this food, too much of this food is not good for your health, but you need to eat it. Then you have to control how you eat the food because you need it. Then also, there are many other things that make us to be fit, that give us a very healthy life. First of all, if you so what am I trying to say? So what am I trying to say is that all we are doing, we also have to understand the rules that too much of it. We can still live as long as we want to live if we can be able to do what? To manage these rules. I didn't say you should drink or you should not. It's your own opinion. You should control it, not by using it as everyday food. In essence, we should drink. Yeah, you should drink, but not too much. Even in the Bible, now Paul said that you should drink small because of your stomach. You should drink small. I said most of us say that the food we are consuming now is poisonous to our health, that it affects our. Wait now. So what are we gonna do? We also have to know that maybe consuming starch every day might affect.
You've made your point. Allow you. You understand what he's saying?
Hey.
So getting to. So in order to finalize,
Have you finalized? Did we? Did we talk? Did we teach alcohol? And reincarnation. Oh my God.
Okay. I don't think he's misleading us here because we have already gotten the foundation of what we are discussing. If wait, do you know what is misleading? If he is misleading you, you may not have the capacity to realize that this is wrong because that is mislead. So, but you, for the fact you have the foundation there, wait. No, nah, you are talking about misleading. You are talking about misleading. Yeah. What you the right choice of word to use there is that he diverted. He diverted from the track. You understand? So it's not a mislead. Just he went on the wrong track. He's not misleading you. If he's misleading you, you would have keyed on. Wait, you would have keyed into what he's saying. I want you to understand the concept of what you just said now. It's not a mislead. Wait. He is talking about his own view. Why? You know, what you are just having here is conflict of understanding.
My question is, what are you going home with what we thought, what we learned today?
That is his own view. You air your view. You air your view, right?
Even the Plato, he didn't even talk about it. He just talking about food, alcohol, intake of too much alcohol.
Yes, he's right. No. That wait. But wait, Chiledu, you are getting it all wrong. The only thing that we say here is that he did not touch this part. But what Prof asked here is, what are you going home with? So it doesn't matter whether he touched here or he starts from that beginning. What matters is what he's going home with.
Okay, he's going home with alcohol.
He's going home with the effect and cause of alcohol. That is it. As a result of technology.
Okay, so Emmanuel, I summarize. I'm not feeling bad. Emmanuel, please summarize.
Okay.
Oh my God!
Okay. Oh, chill. Wait. I don't say the keep pay you well.
Everybody in this serious be listening.
I don't know the last I laughed like this. So it's a Socrates.
Reincarnation is a philosophy.
Okay, I will summarize.
Okay,
Because I'm getting too late.
actually, what I'm going home with is
Hey.
wisdom, knowledge, education, and philosophy is the key to life because philosophy touches the science we are benefiting from has everything to do with philosophy. The only difference there is that there is no practical method of it. In philosophy, if you dive into philosophy, you understand there is a part of philosophy called metaphysics. That is where you see the explanation of symbolism and meaning, where gold symbolizes purity, iron symbolizes resilience and war.
Okay.
You understand? So philosophy touches the whole angle of the world. Now, with wisdom, there is what we call invention from the early stage of stone. They applicate wisdom. That's why they were able to do what? Start with stone. With knowledge. Knowledge. The sciences today is basically on the knowledge of what happened in the early stage, in advancement. So philosophy touches all angles, both psychology and everywhere. That is what I call it the mother of social science. The only difference from pure science is that pure science applicates practical aspect of it, while philosophy implies theoretical aspect of it. Thank you.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. So thank you very much, everybody. And we are ending the class.
Iwan goes on.
We're ending the class today. Thank you very much for that wonderful summary. See you guys next time.